Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. We're going to get started here with Interim General Manager Joe Will. A couple of things off the top here. We do ask that everybody please mute your line until we get to the point where you're asking a question. It'll just keep the background noise down and make the call a lot more enjoyable for everybody. So I believe Joe has got a couple of comments here off the top. Just a reminder for this call, Joe will be addressing the coaching change that was announced earlier today and can give some other general hockey operations updates depending on what questions you might have. We will be doing another call later this afternoon related to the NHL draft coming up with Joe, Assistant General Manager Tim Burke, and Director of Scouting Doug Wilson Jr. So for the most part, we're going to try to keep those comments until we get that group together, as some of those individuals were not available until later. So again, thanks everybody for joining today. Joe will go ahead and turn it over to you. And then after Joe wraps up his opening comments, ask you guys to please use the hand raise function if you have a question, and we'll call on you one at a time. Joe, over to you.
Thanks, Scott. Good morning, everyone, and happy Canada Day. Last evening, we made a decision to part ways with Bob Boughner, John McLean, John Madden, and Dan Darrow. We appreciate Bob's 3-year run with the Sharks, and during his tenure, the team was known for working hard, and Bob was very invested in the plan to play and develop young players. Since the end of our season and related to this GM search, we put together a thorough review of where we've been and where we're going. This has been the most thorough and reflective review that we've had over the past 20 years. All aspects of this team have been evaluated: coaching, scouting, development, and management. Although we're all aware that this team's played in 30 playoff rounds over the past 20 years, we did not make the playoffs in the past 3 seasons. We need to look ahead. We can and we will improve the team in all these areas. We have already made some changes, and modifications are in the works for many areas, both on and off the ice. That includes Barracuda coaching, development, analytics, and mental performance, amongst others. Responsibility for this organization's performance is shared between management, coaching, and the players themselves. We're now beyond looking backwards, and we're now looking forward to the opportunities available with the new GM and a new head coach. And lastly, we moved into an in-person finalist stage with our GM search after about a dozen very thorough and lengthy Zoom interviews. Now I'll open it up to any questions.
So again, we just ask you to use the hand raise function, and we can call on you one at a time. Go ahead, Shane.
Hey, Joe. Hope your summer has been going well. Good to see you again.
Hi, Shane.
Wanted to ask you, I guess, the reasoning behind the letting go of the coaches, and also the timing aspect of it. This is it seems a little bit later than usual to kind of to do that.
Yeah, well, up until yesterday, they were our coaching staff, and in going through there were some qualities we said, like we worked hard. We played young players. There are a lot of things that they could hang their hat on. But as we got further into this review, and it's been very thorough in a lot of different areas, we just came to the conclusion that, amongst everything else, we just want this fresh start, moving forward with a general manager and a head coach. And that'll also create the opportunity for the general manager to find their head coach and to, partner up with them moving forward. So, again, it's not solely upon the performance of the coaches for this past season or anything else. It's a shared thing between, myself and our management team, the coaches and the players. We all need to get better. And that's what we've done in this process. Looked at every single way that we can get better across the board. And so that was it. It's been a very thorough and exhaustive process. And, we're at the point to where, we're done looking backwards at everything. And now it's looking at our solutions moving forward and implementing those solutions. So it's a decision, again, was for all of us, yes, everything is tied to not making the playoffs over the past 3 years, or a lot of it is. But it's also tied with, moving forward with the new GM and new opportunities.
And you talked about that, I guess, thorough evaluation that I'm sure Bob and his staff went under too. What were, I guess, maybe some of the determining factors in the end that, led you guys to make the decision? And did the GM interviews you guys have had, I don't know if that's something that you've asked the prospective candidates, especially in the in-person phase, what they think of the coaching staff. And so did those candidates, finalists, I guess, have some sort of involvement in this, that maybe you got an indication from them that they would probably move on? So
yeah, again, I think with the candidates, and we did with the candidates, we've gotten into a lot of things, everything. They've been, the Zoom interviews, as Jonathan mentioned, they've all been, 4 to 6 hours. And then we've had, when people come out to San Jose, they're full day sessions, and it goes over everything, coaching, scouting, development, analytics, mental performance, direction of the team, and all these different areas. I think with the candidates, it wasn't like a direct, what do you think about the staff or anything like that? It's more about, what do you need moving forward? How do you envision coaching? And, I think there's some common threads. They're looking for teaching, they're looking for culture and accountability, and they're looking for, somebody to manage and maximize the performance of this group, to get the best out of the players and the assets that they're given. But a lot of that is just, now the general manager will have the opportunity to move forward and select a head coach that matches the vision that they have in all of these areas. And so again, yes, it's been a process since the end of the season. I think we've went every day since the end of the season looking at all areas, and now we're at the point of moving forward. It's been exhaustive. We've got to this point. It's often these decisions are made immediately after the season. We weren't prepared for that. This coaching staff did well. They deserve to be in consideration moving forward, and they truly have been all the way into here until this decision was made yesterday.
Curtis?
Hi, Joe.
Hi,
You
Curtis.
mentioned obviously the timing here. Could the process though gone a little bit quicker in order to maybe give Bob and John and the two Johns to a chance to maybe hook on somewhere else? Doesn't seem like they have much of a chance to maybe get another job right away here. I mean, is there, looking back, could there have been an opportunity to maybe make a decision a little bit quicker?
No, there's again, it was their job until yesterday they very well could have been, the coaching staff of the Sharks moving forward, going into this with the new GM and next season and everything else. So they were in consideration all up to that point until they weren't. And we're going to do things right, as far as our review, and our review was exhaustive in all areas, looking at everything. And again, they are all, members of the Sharks up until yesterday, and in full consideration to take this ongoing. So no, it really couldn't have went any quicker.
When do you and Jonathan and Hasso hope to have a new GM in place? Is there some hope you'll have someone in place by the draft or free agency, or as far as the timeline goes, is there any update there?
Well, I think, we're in a decent spot, heading into next week's draft and our upcoming free agency and our contractual decision periods that we have over the next, few weeks here. We have the personnel in place. We have the processes in place. All these type of things are there's even some commonality with different finalists that we have on direction that they want to go, that help us, makes some of the decisions we have to make kind of easier moving forward. So we're not basing the hiring decision on timing with these things. We're in a good spot with all these things, and but we are in the home stretch. We are in the home stretch with the candidates. It's doing a lot of reference checking, vetting, final, hypothetical situations, looking at everything else. So again, it's been thorough up to this point, but we are in the home stretch. So I don't have a date on it, but we're getting much closer.
Can you say how many people how many finalists you have?
No, I can say, we talked to around a dozen candidates by Zoom. And again, there were like 4 to 6 hour interviews, extremely thorough. We had multiple finalists come out to San Jose. That we are in that period right now. And so at that point, with that final recommendation of when we get to that point, we're not at a single person yet. I guess I'll put it that way. And when we get to that part, then we just do our very final process with them of vetting and everything else, and then we introduce them, and we're close. But the finalists are I'll just put it in that we had said all the way along. It's our finalists are going to be 3 to 5, and that's the area that we're in.
Corey?
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Corey.
I guess one thing, you let go of several coaches, but not Nabby. What was the decision behind keeping him versus not keeping the other ones?
Well, one of the things that we've talked about with multiple GM candidates, and it's again kind of a commonality with their finalists, is they all really want to ramp up the area of player development. They especially with the salary cap and more young players in this league and everything else, that they want to they each really want to have a separate and distinct development department, with the head of development and very specific roles within there. And so Nabby is generally more in a development spot. He's going to be at this point in time leading our, and we have a draft coming up and we have some development coming up. So Nabby is in those efforts as well within goaltending. And he's our guy with goaltending. He is overseeing all areas of goaltending here. And when the GM comes in, be working with Nabby on how we structure moving forward in that area. But that's one area we've identified that we may bolster the staff with a little bit, and I would expect some bolstering of the staff within player development as well, adding to it. Going out into prospect development, and especially with the, we've had more first and second round picks and higher prospects than we had probably in the previous 5 years. And so, our desire and ability to work with them is very important to us.
Will you and your current staff wait until the new GM is in place before you start the new coaching search?
That's something too that we always have ongoing lists of up and coming and current coaches. We almost have a rating or review system that's kind of like players. You just keep it on the back burner in case you need that at some point in time. And so, yeah, we're very aware here. We have that. The candidates kind of have their own. There's been some talk about, who are some coaching candidates and things like that out there that match your personality. Who are you intrigued by? What's your philosophies on that? And so we've talked with many candidates on that and got some feedback. And of course we always have people that we watch closely as up and coming people, should those decisions really ever need to be made. So I think, simultaneously, I have one here that I look at, and GM candidates are, but no, we're not going to go down that path right now, really, until they're in place. My guess is upon hearing the announcement, all of our candidates are, now they know that this is we're at the next step, and they're taking that individually, how they want to take it, and really taking a look at people. So I guess in their own minds, they've kind of started their coaching searches. So when they come in, that'll be one of their top items here.
And you mentioned that you feel like you have a handle on what's coming in the next couple of weeks, whether there's a new GM or not. One of the things that it sounds like is not going to be coming is a solution to the Evander Kane issue. How is that going to affect your ability to reshape the roster in any way?
I look at it like salary arbitration. Salary arbitration is a process that happens after free agency, and quite often you just have to plan for an outcome you can't predict. And so there's a bit of that to it. We've been through it before. So you just, you have to be cautious in all areas, because there are various outcomes in this decision. It's unprecedented in the National Hockey League, with the situation like this. And so, anything that comes, down with this, although there may be possibilities for something to be done before free agency, we have to plan like it's, the grievance process is all going to be after, and plan accordingly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Mahal?
Hi, Mahal. You're on mute.
Sorry about that, Joe.
Mhm.
Just to add to Curtis's question earlier, if the decision is strictly Sharks' decision, not related to GM in any way for the coaching staff, why not do some of those evaluations during the season? So this decision could have been a lot earlier.
I think, they deserve to be in consideration, and that's what we, determined throughout there. Did an admirable job in certain areas here, but again, this organization hasn't made the playoffs in the past 3 seasons, and we are going to have a new GM, and it all weighed together. So it was not clear cut that it wasn't our coaching staff moving forward. It wasn't clear cut. It as we went through the process, we wanted to go through it. So coming back on that, they've been our coaches for 3 years. We've tried to give them every chance that we possibly can to succeed here and to continue to coach this team. And again, decision was made last night.
And then also for the new GM, I mean, one of the key things would be the draft. And if that decision gets delayed further, where he's not getting a chance to play a role in that, and now also on the coaching staff, and how does that affect going into the next season with the new GM?
Well, with the candidates, I've talked some draft hypotheticals, the situations that we're looking at, who may be available, team needs, options to what to do with the pick, outside of selection, moving up, moving down, moving the pick, everything else is always under consideration. And that's something through these long interviews we had. We had a section on the draft with everybody and kind of went through it. And again, there's a lot of commonalities when people look at our roster and situation. I can say quite honestly, there's kind of guidance from the finalists on some on certain things, and plus we do have a full staff in place, and although we're going to be adding in different areas and modifying things, we have a full scouting staff in place that we're confident in. And I've been through many drafts between the Sharks, and even back when I worked for the North Stars, I've been through many drafts on here. So it's not our first time around here. So we're moving forward, and we, very comfortable too that we're not going to get into any situation that really contradicts the vision of any new GM coming in here.
And how much of this is now going to be sort of a limitation for the new GM as far as what's available for coaching staff?
I think there's plenty of good candidates out there, and that's another thing too. In talking with candidates here, and knowing the people they're talking about and the lists and things like that too is again that urgency that there's only a couple candidates out there that we're into, that wasn't there. There's going to be numerous good options for us in the head coaching and coaching staff areas. So plenty of quality candidates out there, much like there's plenty of quality candidates for the GM, and that's what we found. We're very, very bullish on talking with people. I can honestly tell you, as we talked to the dozen of candidates by Zoom, I was happy with talking with everybody. I think they all really had something to bring to the table, and I wasn't disappointed along the way. So it tells me, there are plenty of good general manager candidates out there. It's the biggest part is the specific fit to the Sharks. And I also believe in the head coaching area, it's the same. So plenty of head coaching candidates that are perhaps assistants in the National Hockey League, former head coaches that are available, NHL head coaches. There's AHL coaches. There's coaches, international, junior, college, everywhere. So there's a lot of good coaches out there.
Thank you.
Shane?
You're welcome.
Hey, Joe, wanted to also ask just if you can say anything about what sort of shaped the search for Sharks GM in terms of just what you guys are looking for and what's brought you to your finalists. One thing that's out there, maybe just a coincidence, that a couple of the mentioned finalists are former Sharks. Is that something that's important, or can you allude to other things that have sort of got you to where you guys are right now?
Well, the most important thing is leadership, and that's something that we said right from the start. Just looking for the right leader who has a vision and has the ability to lead this group of staff and players moving forward, and for hopefully an extended amount of time here. So leadership by far. As far as everything else that you talk about, the salary cap, the connection to coaching, the scouting, alumni, all these things, they're nice. Everybody has their own unique fingerprint with their background. That was the beauty of the search that we had, because we truly did all these areas that we identified early on is we talked to people in the international community. We talked to player agents. We talked to league personnel. We talked to former GMs, and we talked to current hockey staffs. We did talk to them all in that phase, that Zoom phase, and everything else. We touched all the areas we said, and again, some, like we had predicted, some were a little bit more in cap, and some were a little bit more in scouting, and some have been connected to the Sharks. So leadership is the one common thread, and fit to the Sharks.
And somewhat unrelated, but the buyout window opened today. I think it lasts till before free agency. We asked you about this a couple of months ago, but Marc-Edouard Vlasic is a name that's come up. Can you say anything about just the considerations, what the Sharks are thinking with him, or I guess anybody else in the buyout process?
No, I don't have anything specific to say with buyouts. We're aware that it's open. Buyouts are usually a more of a last decision on people, to be quite honest. You look at other things until you get to there. When you go through that phase, people remain on the salary cap. It's useful in a few situations, not in everything. There's usually better solutions, And so, yes, it is open. Yes, we're aware. And, you know, and it's a tool for us. And I won't comment anymore about, you know, how that connects to anybody on our roster.
Can you say, I guess specifically, or, you know, maybe you're declined to say, will you guys not buy out Mark Edward?
You're asking me the same question on there. And again, I'm not anything that we're going to do, you know, with any player here. I told you how I feel on Mark Edward, and I'm very excited that he's a member of this club, and you know, look forward to you know, moving forward with Mark Edward. So I'm not going to go down this path.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
All right, I don't see any more hands up. I think we've kind of covered most of the topics for this morning. Give everybody maybe one more minute here if something comes up. But as I mentioned, we do have another call scheduled for 3 o'clock today that will be more focused on the upcoming NHL draft next weekend. And we'll have Joe on the call along with Tim Burke and Doug Wilson Jr. So I appreciate everybody's time this morning and on somewhat short notice here. And we'll look forward to reconvening a little later this afternoon.